Okay. I Can you hear me? Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties here with the audio. Hello? Yes? Yeah, you can hear me? Okay, cool. All right, sorry. I was trying to figure out how to use OBS. I still don't know anything about it. I tried and accidentally went live. Didn't mean to, but heck with it. We'll come back and we're live now since I made a mistake there. What's going on, guys? Who's around? Ryan, Francis, JJ, graphics. Thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all being here. I'm glad you can hear me. I'm sorry it's not the greatest. I believe I got to turn this down over here. Okay. Well, I'm like I said before, I'm trying to figure out how to use OBS. In the future, the way I want to do some live stuff would be send a link out to some of you guys, and that way you can jump on and we can have 3 or 4 of us and we can all just chat about tattooing, answer questions or whatnot, that's what I'm trying to do, but I got to figure out how to use this OBS stuff so I can send links out so people, can get on and chat and whatnot. So yeah, that's what I was doing. Yeah, when who's this? Beautifully, you talked about dipping your needles in the ink. It seems when you're picking up ink in your Dragonhawk pen, it only picks up a little, and you end up wasting a lot of ink. Depends on the needle size too. I mean, the tube's gonna draw in only a certain amount, and when you go to tattoo, a lot of that is gonna kind of come out, and you are gonna waste a decent amount of it. That's kind of just the way it goes. You want to try to limit that the best you can. Use some A&D or Vaseline on the skin to help keep it from pooling too much. Only dip the tip of your needle into the ink so that you're not adding more ink to the outside of the tube. And a lot of times what I do, even after I pull my needle out of the ink, I still take the needle itself, the tube, and just wipe it on the bottom of the paper towel because it likes to pick up like a little drop back there that'll drive you crazy. Yeah, Sandy says she needs to learn StreamYard as well. Yeah, see, I've only heard of StreamYard. I'm really not technically savvy. I barely know how to, edit some videos. That's about it. Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it, man. We've been working on the studio. I got to get back at it. I got another room over there I got to sort of work on and get that going, but it just seems like there's never enough time. Cool, Gearhead. He likes the Kurosumi ink. I used Kurosumi once a while back, and I didn't have anything I don't have a negative memory of using it. In fact, I think I kind of liked it. I am trying to get in checking out more of your guys' work. There's a lot of messages, and I'm working my way through them here and there. I don't want to overdo it on myself, so I do a little at a time, and that's why I do get backed up. But I am working my way through it. I still seem to miss people's stuff here and there. I have several email accounts. I do miss stuff. It gets a little tricky on my end, but I'm trying. Do I have a video on pricing for tattoos? Sort of. I have a video on like how to make money in tattooing, like in the beginning, how to tattoo and make some money. But pricing tattoos is got to be one of the most interesting things. You can make a video on it, or you could really have a discussion about it, is what I think you should do. And that's kind of what I want to do. Again, I want to figure out this OBS stuff, get links out to, any of you guys. We can have different people on each time and share ideas or whatnot and discuss pricing because it is tricky. I tend to underprice a little bit just because it's always been difficult for me to take people's money, even though it's like what I do. I just never really care for it. So I'm learning. It's been years, but I'm still learning. Let me see. Yeah, if you guys are interested in sending in fake skin, I've had a few. I was supposed to go to the post office today and mail those back out. I've been delayed a little while. Um, but yeah, we're still doing that. I've got 3 of them. I'll probably have a video going out in a few days. Nothing crazy. I'm not being super critical. This is not a moment for me to bash anybody. Everything I've gotten so far, I really liked, and I think that you guys are on your way. But don't be afraid. I'm only going to be helpful if anything. Okay. Uh, I like a curved mag, Daniel. That's my favorite for shading. Relic, what's up, man? If you guys don't know Relic Vapor, he is my longest subscriber ever from years ago. I left YouTube for like 5 years and came back, and he's still here. And thanks, Relic. Um, what's my thought about single needle tattoos? I don't really use single needles. I'll use a 3 tight bug pin, and I like that. They compare it to a single needle. I've actually never used a single needle before, but I really do like 3 tights. They are nice. You can do a lot of things with them. You can get nice shading with them if you're patient. You can mix that with a mag and make some nice stuff. You can sculpt things really well, so real small, delicate things where lining's great, but you can kind of sculpt the little bits. Love them for that. And so those people that can line really, really well with a single needle or a 3 tight, that's the skill. I'm working on it. Some days are better than others. It's interesting. They all come out fine, but some days it just feels like, oof, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, Jason, the towel definitely helps. Let's see. Trying to go through some of your guys' comments here. RS, do I charge by the hour or by the size? I usually charge by the tattoo. I'll have them come in for a consultation. Um, we'll go over what they want, and I'll have a pretty good understanding of how much this might cost. I always know what I should charge them, and then I know what I do charge them, and that's where I struggle because um, sometimes I just want to do it so bad. I don't want. I will charge them a little less for the opportunity to do some of these. But that's me. Jesus. So what was the question? Yeah, I charge by the job. It's easier for me because I don't want somebody to have to pay me hourly if I'm running slow that day, or maybe I'm working on a style that is not like my specialty. Not that I have a specialty. Uh, I don't want them to have to pay for maybe my slowness. So other people who are great in, let's say, awesome color work, they can charge for that hour because they're efficient. You're getting your money's worth. You have to think of that too. Are you giving them their money's worth? Are you working diligently, quickly enough, efficiently? Is tattoo coming out well? You can work fast and have a bad product. You can have a great product and work really, really slow. So it's all about that balancing act. So sometimes when I'm unsure, I will charge a little bit less to compensate for my potential to be slow. What was your question about the battery supply? I don't charge for consultations. Consultations are free. I prefer consultations. Get you in here, let me talk to you, see what you want. You're saving me time because if it's through a message and you're like, this, I want this, and this on my arm, and you have to go back and forth, message, and then you're designing something, and then you kind of send it to them, or you see them, and it's not really what they wanted. And I never want that. I never want it to be like, oh, okay, I'll take that. Like, no, if it's not what you want, then let's figure it out. So I'd rather them just come in, save me time, save them a headache. Let's get it knocked out. We'll give them a price. We'll set them up a time to come in. And then I have a deadline to get that tattoo stencil ready, that design ready. I have a deadline. They made an appointment. Take a deposit. Doesn't have to be a huge amount. Whatever it's going to cost you to design that tattoo, essentially. Let's see. How much do you charge for the stencil if they bail out? I don't charge them anything. If they bail out, I just keep their deposit. And most of the time, it really has never happened, but I would imagine they would understand. Like, hey, look, you're clearly bailed. We designed this. We're ready to go. We're gonna have to hold on to the deposit. And if they're decent people, like most people are, they'll understand. A video for the different skin types. Yeah, I could, but I'd have to get enough different skin types in here on a regular basis to put that video together. So that might be something to I'll think about for the long haul. Like get the different skins that come in. I'll catch a little bit of video of each one of them and maybe be able to put something together down the road a little bit. Don't worry if you spam my IG. It's fine. I really do try to get to everybody, but I'm slow. I'm not married to my phone. Anything that I do is mainly on the desktop computer right here. It's where I have my monitors. This is where I not record, but work on videos. This is where I reply to comments. So I'm not really strapped to my phone, even though it's like right here. I don't always get on there. And that's where I use Instagram and various other things. But I'm getting better. Yeah, color packing it's splotchy there, ink, therapeutic ink. It is tricky. Still, sometimes I will finish a tattoo. The best thing to do is take a picture of it. Take a picture of it like when you think you're close to being done, and zoom in and take a look. And you can see, you might be able to tell where, when you're looking at it here, everything looks nice and packed in. But when you look at it in a photo and you can see the different lighter areas or whatnot, that'd be a good way to help you know if you got a good saturation in throughout the whole tattoo. And then if you can go back and maybe hit some of them spots as long as you didn't overwork them too much or what have you. JJ says he tattoos many different skin types. You have to let us know, JJ. Some tips, man, on across the board. Hey, Big Tony, no homo, buddy. It's no problem. Congrats on that license, man. Okay, so Gavin Reynolds says, I'm learning to tattoo and my lines aren't taking good. Are you tattooing on skin or are you tattooing on fake skin? I mean, it would make a little bit of a difference to know that, but regardless, there's a few things. This is why it's hard to reply to some of the comments, because what size liner are you using? What kind of needle? The smaller needle you're using when you're learning can be a bit trickier because it's going to show a lot more of those breaths, that little bit of twitching in your hand that's almost uncontrollable at times. The smaller needle grouping is going to show that more. If you use a larger needle grouping, you're going to have better results. And then you can work yourself down. So if you start with a thicker liner, because it has less vibration, it doesn't show every little bit of movement because it is just a larger liner or shader, you can work there and then slowly work yourself down. So, okay, let me try, instead of using this 14 round shader or 8 round shader or whatever, let me try a 7 round liner, a 9 round liner. Okay, try 5. Okay, once you get to those, it's like, all right, and then you can try a 3, or you can try a 3 right off the bat. You can try any of these whenever. Just my suggestion if you're having a hard time. But remember, as you go down in needle grouping, your voltage may need to come down a little bit to compensate because it's not pushing as much needle. So the smaller they get, the more you got to pay attention. And same if you're going from a small needle up to a larger needle. I'm not saying you have to, but you probably will. If you're going from a 3 round liner up to an 8 round shader, you're going to need to up your voltage a little bit or dramatically slow your hand down. I don't use numbing cream. I could. I don't have enough experience with it. I've used it a couple times and I didn't much like it too much. Now, it could have been in my head because, we think these things. So I just never went back to them. And so I may try them again if that's something you guys are interested in. I can certainly try it out. Who knows? I might find something new. I found a lot of things new since YouTube here. You ask questions and I try to find the answer or, whatnot. So I learned right alongside you guys. And when I learn stuff, I share it with you. And I'm trying to catch up on some of these things that I meant to cover a while back. JJ says, pick your colors wisely when tattooing dark skin. What causes the skin to raise up as it heals? Yeah, what causes the skin to raise up while it heals? I think that's like a form of overworking the skin. It's kind of like scarred a little bit. It didn't blow out. It didn't go completely out, but I think it was just maybe ran a little too hard in the skin, which is causing it to come up. I'm no scientist. It's just what I've noticed. I'm sure there might even be a word for it. I don't know. But I think it's just a little overworked. It still looks okay. It's just raised up, if that's what you're talking about. Okay, I'm trying to move around here. Let's see. Best line of cartridges. Yeah, I like Quadrant cartridges. There's plenty of them out there that are awesome. But sometimes when you get used to using a cartridge or a couple brands, you really stick to those because you just start to learn them and you know them. I don't know how it can equate to something else, like maybe you like a particular paintbrush, and I don't know. Excuse me. But yeah. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but needle prices are going up because we don't make them here in America. Hey, thanks, Dave. Dave says, find Dave on Instagram. Thanks, man. At daveinks.aa. Like I said, I try to get a little bit more active there and post more often. Thanks, Megan. Appreciate it. I'm loving the shop. We still have so much to do, but I'm trying to play the slow game here and just try not to overwhelm myself with too much. So a little at a time, because we got time. Okay, so John asked which parts of the body, skin-wise, are more difficult to find the correct needle depth with an 11. I'm not sure why we got an 11 round liner, but in general, we'll say okay with an 11 round liner at 8. Okay. Well, I'm not sure. That's how you have your machine set up, and everybody's going to be a little bit different. So I couldn't tell you exactly how every part of the skin is going to take an 11 round liner, 8.5 volts. I'm not quite. That's pretty specific. But we can talk a little bit about what parts of the body are more difficult to find the correct needle depth at. A quick answer would be like anywhere where the skin is like, you know what I mean? The squishiness back here. It's not tight up here. It's not got that dexterity, but it's that loose stuff. That's just like the painful pinching spots on your body. Anywhere where the skin's a little like that. Those are the parts that are a little trickier to get lines to stick in. And the reason for that is the skin vibrates a lot more. Now you can try to stretch your heart out, and that's what you want to do, and then try to run that line. These are moments where I say riding the tube, for me, is a must. I gauge the skin. I know what's going on, so I'm going to ride the tube. I'm going to drop my needles back just a little bit. I'm going to run one line. I'm going to as tight as I can get the skin, and I'm going to be pushing a little bit more than I normally would in other locations. So we're running the line. I'm pushing just a little bit more than normal. I'm kind of riding that tube. And then I take it off and I check that out. Line came out great. Then that's my method for the rest of this area. If I ran that line and you can tell it looks scratchy, it didn't quite get in, I'm going to click it a notch out, send my needle a little bit further, keep my stretch, and push with my hand a little bit more into the skin. You can slow your hand down a little bit, but push it a little bit more. So you're reading it. Okay, that didn't take it. A little bit more hang, a little bit more pressure. Let's run that again. Then it takes. And you're like, okay, this is how I'm running these lines in this particular area. That's just how I do it. Again, everybody's got their own thing. I just share what I do. Thanks, Tuesday. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Send me a picture when you get that shirt, man. Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it, man. I'm glad. How many times do I suggest using the same needle for practice skin? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was me, but I never reused a needle ever. I never reused a needle for practice skin. I never reused a needle for any of that stuff. I think when I sat down to tattoo fake skin, I I knew what I was going to do. I was going to tattoo this piece of fake skin. I was going to tattoo that image I put on that face that I stenciled on there. And when I'm done, I take it all apart. I dispose of my needles, and that's that. Because if I were to use those same needles that I used that entire time on the next tattoo, those needles get dull. They really do, especially going into that fake skin. That shit's tough. So you're almost doing yourself a disservice because you're going to go use those needles again, and they're not as sharp. And that anything that makes you question yourself in the beginning is really not worth it. So if you're questioning, is this line not going? Oh, it might be because these are used needles. Well, you just take that right out of the equation and dispose of them and use the new needles. That's just my opinion. You don't have to do that. You're more than welcome to use the same needle in fake skin. Yeah, so I guess that's that. Megan asked, where else can we follow you? I think I'm on Instagram as @daveinks.88, and my Facebook for my business is on Facebook as Death Punch Inc. So you can check me out, Death Punch Inc. as well. I post the same stuff on Instagram as I do on Death Punch Inc. So I don't know. I guess I get lazy when it comes to some of that stuff, because it seems overwhelming after a while. I just want to tattoo and make videos about it and share it with you guys. I don't know, but we have to show the world our work and whatnot, so I try. Can you whip shade with a round shader? Yes, you can, Francisco. You can whip shade with a round shader just like you would with a mag. In fact, sometimes it's almost works better with a round shader sometimes, depending on what you're trying to go for. But yeah, that's one of the benefits of a round shader. You can get some nice texture out of a whip shade. And I don't whip shade that often, like as far as the textured, like stimpling, if you will. I don't really do that often. I don't know why. It just wasn't a part of how I drew or shaded stuff when I was younger and whatnot. So I don't really do it that often. I'm probably going to start doing it a bit more because people tend to like it. But for me, it just wasn't what I liked. So it's important to listen to other people, look at other people's work, see how other people do stuff. You can learn, once you understand the basics of tattooing and kind of get a gist of it, you can look at somebody else's work and just stare at it for 20 minutes. Well, that's a little long. Let's say 5 minutes, and look at it and see everything they did. You can see, oh, wow, that was really cool. I like how they shaded that. I know how to make that effect. So, okay. And that's really how I learned a lot. I just looked at images and tried to figure out how they made that happen. So anyhow, I get off on tangents. I don't even know what the heck I was talking about. Yeah, how do you keep knuckles and finger tattoos from falling out? Hands are tricky. I didn't know that at first, obviously, like everything else. But you have to really put that tattoo in correctly. And more so, not necessarily just correctly, but also deliberately. Take your time when you're putting black in a knuckle. I mean, it might look like it's there, but you really want to be moving, at a proper speed. Packing, let's assume you're using black because that's the best one to use in a knuckle. Pack it slow, pack it properly. It's weird trying to get the words out. It's difficult, but you just want to take your time and work it in. But these are wear parts. These are parts of the body that get so much movement, so much wear. I mean, we put my hands in my pockets all the time. The pocket sits right there, so it's rubbing. The healing process is difficult because there's constant movement in there. I would always tell people, whether they like it or not, I want to see the hand tattoo once it's healed. Bring it back in, because there's more than likely going to need some sort of touching up. But there are those out there. Guys, I mean, by no means some fantastic tattoo artists. There are people out there that that really know what they're doing specifically and even more so. And they could probably get it in one go. But for me, I want to see it again. I want to guarantee. I want to learn from it. I want to look at it and go, okay, all right, that healed really nicely, But most of the time, I want to see it because I'm sure there's going to be a spot or two where I feel like I want to go back into. Thank you, Ruby. Nick says when he's tattooing, the needle snags sometimes. That's going to a lot of times come down to stretching, the three basic fundamentals. It's one of those three. Either you don't have a good stretch and the skin is bouncing while your needles are hitting it, it's causing it to snag. It can be a combination of them. The skin is bouncing and your hand's moving too fast for your voltage, and the skin is snagging. It could be the machine is moving too slow, but you're dragging your hand faster and the skin is snagging. So it's usually a mixture of one of those three, one of them, two of them, all three of them. That's what I have found. A single drop in a cap with water. When tattoo anything, go for a high saturation. All right, Dave, I'm trying to grade that. I'll come back to that one, man. I'm trying to understand what you're saying. Hey, thanks for stopping by, Treasures. Let's see. KB7 Barber asks, what's your thoughts on using pig skin or pig ears? I've never used either one of them, so I really can't say anything about it. Some of the comments at one point, I remember they were talking about it. They liked using the pig ears, or they used them a lot during their apprenticeship. So I can't speak on that. I'm sorry, man. All right, Zeppa. Okay, I'm gonna call you Zeppa because I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name, even though it's probably not super complicated. She says, I'm a new tattooer. I'm kind of sheltering my own work, though, in fear that other pros will get pissed. Should I just say fuck it and get myself out there? Yeah, say fuck it and get yourself out there. Yes, do that. Who cares if somebody doesn't like what you're doing, all right? But, if you're consistently over the course of some good period of time, part of my friends still putting out shit, then maybe you want to stop. But don't be afraid to put it out there, okay? You are probably, if you're like most of us, your worst critic. So try to let it go a little bit. I could take some of my own advice, honestly. But yes, put it out there. Who cares if the pros don't like it? Do the work you're doing here. I don't know. I go on for a while about that. Put it out there. We'll leave it at that. What matters more, the needle cartridge or the tattoo machine? Good one. For me, I'm going to say I feel like I could tattoo with, you give me any rotary machine, I should be fine with it, okay? Even if it's crap, I'll roll with it. Excuse me. But the needles, I want to be comfortable with my needles. So for me personally, I pick the needles. Even though the same thing can be said, give me any good machine and any brand of needles, and I can make, same. But for me, I guess I prefer the needles. I don't know. Boy, this is going to bother me for a while. I'll be thinking about that. John Smith is looking for the best design software other than Procreate. If you guys know one, let him know. I've been using Procreate. A couple people told me there's a couple other programs out there that are good as well. I can't remember them right now, so if you know them, let John know. Thanks, George. All right, so advice for self-taught artists trying to make it in the tattoo world. All right, Francisco, it's pretty broad. but I'm going to do my best here. Be responsible, I would say. Like that would be. There's another fly. Oh, these bastards. Got one. If I were looking for apprentice or something like that, or if I'm telling somebody the importance of what you might need for tattooing is you need a good mindset. So you need to be ready to continue to work hard even past the time you think that you should be working hard. Or you could be a year into it and think that I should be doing this, or I should be doing that, or I should be getting this, but really it's a journey because it's your journey. So you need to be responsible during it. So spending your money correctly, you might not have clientele constantly. So again, being responsible with your money, your equipment, investing in yourself, knowing what your work is worth. You're not out there charging hundreds of dollars for a promise and giving them something other than that. So being responsible again it seems non-tattooey, but it's the best advice I can give you. Think about the future. Think about now while you're learning. Dream big, for sure. Dream big, but just understand it's a journey. It's a process, one step at a time. If you're trying to get to here, but you're here, it's not going to work out. You literally have to take all these little steps. So that's going to be my best. Be responsible, be patient, and sort of let yourself and your career, if you will, develop. Hey, RZ, appreciate you, man. Out there in LA, stay safe out there, man. Let's see. How do I feel about black light tattoos? I don't feel anything about black light tattoos because I've never done one. I've never seen one. I don't want to do them. I don't want to get into something super. I consider it gimmicky. Others may not, whatever. But to me, it's a little gimmicky. I don't know what that's the long-term effect of black light tattoos. I don't even know what you're putting something other than ink or pigment into your skin for it to light up under black lights. So I'm gonna pass on that. Maybe if in like years from now, where it's pretty out there and we all know that it's no big deal, then sure. But for now, no, I'm gonna pass. This mouse keeps jumping these comments around, so nothing. Trust my tattoo. No customer. Opinions. Cool. Awesome. Hey, I'm glad to see you guys are like talking to each other and helping each other out, because that is freaking awesome. Because that's really what we need to be doing. You learn something, help somebody else out. Share the information. Because at the end of the day, it's just going to ensure that if people are tattooing at home, that they have the best opportunity to succeed, to make that tattoo, because that's going to help a lot of people out. It's going to help people out there making tattoos. You're less likely to do all these cover-ups if people actually know what they're doing and are, learning the best way possible. We're going to do these things whether someone's helping us or not. So let's help each other out. Right. Sorry if I miss your comment or whatnot. If you're asking something, this thing jumps too much. Okay. Pebble Tez. I haven't read this yet. I went to a 2-week tattoo course in London. Nice. I think I was taught everything on hygiene, how to set up the skin, the workstation, and the machine. It is best to practice on myself before doing other people. Oh, is it best? Huh. That's cool. You had like a 2-week course. I don't know. I've never been to one, never heard of them. I've only in the past heard bad things about them. So it sounds like you learned something. It sounds like they covered some decent topics. So that's cool. Is it best to yes, it is best to practice on yourself. I 100% preach that you should be practicing on yourself before you tattoo anybody else. This fly is going to drive me nuts. Yes, again, practice on yourself. You're going to learn a lot from practicing on yourself. you're also going to get to see that tattoo heal, which is going to teach you a lot. Healing tattoo is going to teach you way more than anything I can really tell you in a comment. So you do that tattoo, watch it heal. Okay, because some tattoos will go in great, they look awesome now, but when that heals, things will fall out, or you see these light spots. So take a picture of it when it's fresh, take a picture of it when it's healed, and or while it's healing, look at it, whatever, and compare them. And you're going to start to learn stuff like, oh crap, I remember being over there in that spot, and it thought it looked funky. It definitely did look funky. It was really light over there. Whatever, you're going to learn a lot. So absolutely tattoo yourself. I always suggest the top of the leg, because that allows you to use two hands when you tattoo, so you can get nice proper stretching. So it all goes well. When you try to tattoo your arm and stuff, this stuff is all super light over here. I was still learning. It's light because I didn't put it in properly. I couldn't get a good stretch. I had one hand. I should have had my wife help me or something, but I was stubborn, as I am. Let's see. Yeah, John, definitely always practice on yourself. Yeah, okay, so nobody really makes black light ink, at least no I can't talk. No good company makes it, right, exactly. Hey, Fabio, that video is for you, buddy. Fabio was asked a while back, how to put a stencil on the knee, and it took me a little while to get to it, but I wanted to make sure you had that, bud. And I know there's a lot of other questions you guys have, and I try to make the videos. Sometimes it depends on how much time it might take to make that video. I might have to wait a little while, what I'm doing, but I'm trying to get to them. I know there's some out there I really, really need to make. But thanks for the support, Fabio. Can you black out tattoo tutorials? How to fill the black perfectly? Yeah, I can show you how to pack black. It's just like packing any other color, to be sort of honest. In fact, black can both be easy to find light spots and hard because it's black, but at the same time, sometimes you can look at it and it kind of just looks nice and packed because it's black. But once you get the light on it properly and you get it cleaned up, you can see the light spots. Best thing you do if you're packing straight black is just be slow, consistent, be patient. Be patient. Small circles, don't try to rush it. Blacking something out, in my opinion, is the most boring thing in tattooing. I don't mind if you want stuff blacked out. I'm not saying the look is boring. I'm saying the process is mind-numbingly boring because it is the same thing constantly, just packing black. But yeah. But I can probably do a video or something like that showing you, how I would do it if, I was blacking an entire section out. No. Do you recommend the rotary to start a tattoo pen? I'm gonna assume you're asking, like, do I suggest using a rotary or a tattoo pen? They're both rotaries, but I prefer the tattoo pen style. If you use something different for a while, then you probably prefer that. Jeez, I got burps. But I'm used to using the pen style, so that's just what I like. That's what I would recommend. Oh, here you go. Recommend, yeah. So that's me. That's what I would do. Yeah, electric fly swatter. That's what I'm talking about. Oh my god! I crack the door. I have to sneak in like a ninja. Because it's that time of year where the flies are just looking for a cool area or something. But yeah. Yes, guys. Thanks, Jennifer. Hit the like on the video. It'll help us out. It'll get more people to see it, and this will help answer more questions, I'm hoping, because there are some of those questions that I just can't answer in a message because I get halfway through it. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense, Dave. You're not speaking English here. And I'll back out of it, and the person thinks I ignored them. It's just this awkward thing where sometimes it's just really difficult to explain things via typing. So I like to do these live stuff so we can talk. And I do quickly want to reiterate the whole reason why I'm even live today. It was an accident. I was trying to learn how to use OBS so that in the future on these live streams, I can send out a link to a couple of you guys. You can jump in and we can talk here. So it's not me just running my suck to myself. Even though you guys are there, at least there's somebody else that we can have a conversation and listen, read comments, and help each other out. It's just a group of people who love to tattoo or want to learn how to tattoo, and we discuss it, that sort of stuff. That's the whole purpose of the channel, and it's been awesome to see you guys talk to each other, help me out. Anyhow, I'll stop talking about that. I know I'm missing a lot of your, I say a lot, and it's probably the truth. Comments, but again, I hit the little mouse button and it seems to reset every time. What kind of healing time do you give your clients? Like the time they would keep the wrap on a fresh tattoo? I use Sanoderm or versions of Sanoderm, and I tell them 24 hours. You can keep them on for longer, like a piece of Sanoderm or whatnot. You can leave it on for less, but some people, when left on for like 48 hours, that one piece had a little irritation. Some people were able to take them off for 36 hours and were fine. But it seems like the overwhelming statistic is 24 hours is going to be the safest amount of time to keep a wrap, like a Sanoderm wrap, not necessarily like a bandage. That would be different. I hope that makes sense. And then as far as healing time, like before I would tattoo a client again, I really like to make sure the tattoo's like as healed as possible without making the person wait too long. So I honestly would book them out the next month, like 4 to 6 weeks for the next session. I try not to make it too crazy long, but still long enough to where the tattoo's not healing while I'm tattooing over top of it, essentially. Learning Big Boy Builds and Reviews says learning to tattoo at an older age is only possible because of channels like yours. Oh, thanks, brother. Having limited mobility in my legs, I wanted to be able to use my artwork and always love tattoos. That's awesome, man. Congrats. People are always asking, hey, is 50 too old to start? Is 55 too old to start? Is 25 too old to start? It's never too old to start. If you pick up a pencil and draw at this age, unless you have, if you got something wrong with your hand, you shake, then I don't mean to be rude, but it's probably not the best for you. But as long as you have the means to make tattoos, then do it. What was your most expensive tattoo you've done to someone? I don't know. I don't have a specific, like an expensive, but I don't know. I usually, for the big ones, I seem to stick right around like $500 or $600. It's hard for me to like, even if it would cost more than that, I would still probably keep it right around there to a degree, I guess. You have certain pieces where you're like, okay, that's going to be right around $500-$600. That's be around 3 or 4. That's 2 or 3. This is this and that. For the most part, my bigger pieces have stayed within the $500-$600 range. Sometimes, like again, I will get a little ambitious and underprice something. So I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll, like, yeah, and then I do it, and I'm like, Jesus, Dave, what the hell are you thinking? But I still enjoy doing it, and I'm still getting paid to make art and put it on people's skin, which is cool. Oh my God. It's taunting me. I need that electric fly swatter. Tase this bastard. JJ says, any recommendations on coil machines? I don't want you switch to rotary, but can't find a good coil. I have very minimal experience with them. This was my first tattoo machine, Mickey Sharp's micro dial. Ran great. I still have it. I'll never get rid of it just because of that reason. But yeah, I mean, that's a solid machine. Mickey Sharps makes some nice stuff. There's a lot of good builders for coil machines. Really are. Color ink recommended. I can't recommend that you guys use any specific color ink or anything like that. I can tell you what I use, and you can take that for what it is. I use Eternal, and I use Fantasia. The real reason why I bought a lot of Fantasia a while back, and then I started buying Eternal, and I use more Eternal than Fantasia, but they both seem to work well for me. I'm not like a huge fan of color work. I do it. I don't mind doing it, but it's not really where my heart lies. But again, I just like tattooing. So at the end of the day, I'll you know, you're a Marine. I'll take out that fly soldier. Yeah. Yeah, don't judge me right now. Let's see. Oh, crap. Missing stuff here again. Crap. Sorry for the dead space here. I'm trying to read some stuff. So I was getting some questions about the CNC Q2. I figured I might as well just jump in with this real quick. Versus the Cheyenne Hawk. It's a tricky thing to do a versus on these machines, but I'll do my best. I do believe the CNC is a better liner. For sure, hands down. I like it for lining. It does a much better job. Just, I don't know why exactly. Maybe it's the kind of drive it is, but it lines really well. And I'll probably, if I were to use both those machines, I would definitely do all my lining with the CNC, and then maybe do some shading with the Cheyenne. But shading is still with the CNC is good. I like it. It works well. It puts it in. It puts it in quick. But it's not very soft. It's not a soft hitting machine, in my opinion. You could probably get a softer hit if you used a different cartridge, because the quadrants have like a rubber band back there type of thing, so it has less resistance. It moves a bit smoother. So you could potentially use a different cartridge and get a softer shading with the Q2, but nonetheless, with the Cheyenne, it has a softer hit, and that might be because of the way it's built and how it runs. But yeah, nonetheless, I can absolutely recommend the CNC Q2 to anybody. Not to say I've been using it for years. I've been using it since that video came out, and I haven't had any problems with it. I really like it. I don't hesitate to pull it out every single time. I really liked it since the first time it touched my skin and I lined with it. I was like, oh shit, all right, that's cool. So I am looking to eventually change machines again, but that's probably not going to be for a few months. I still am trying to get the Eco stencil machine printer, and I'm hoping to get that maybe by next month. We'll get a video made about that. I'll learn to use it a little bit, and then maybe in the next couple months or next month or whatever, I want to get a new machine. I have my eyes on one, and I'll let you guys know more about it as it gets closer. What do you use to get the ink off the fake skin after wiping? A&D and or Vaseline. Rub it in real good. Paper towel. Wipe it off. It works the best so far for getting ink off the fake skin. Yeah, Tuesday, ain't that right, buddy? Good accidental live feed. Yeah, I'm fine with it. I had the time. I'm totally cool with it. It was definitely, I was trying to learn some stuff, but yeah, we'll learn it later. Okay. What kind? Let's see. Yeah, Killer Ink. I've heard that's a good vendor. Yeah, Vaseline takes the ink off really well. A&D products like it, essentially. I lost one. Let's see. Sorry, I'm again just reading through these. Yeah, Aurora, she's saying she's recently starting to learn to tattoo herself, or to tattoo after some disappointing feedback from the shops as far as information, letting them come in there. Is there such a thing as stretching the skin too much? Yes, I believe it's possible. Most of the time, especially in the beginning, that's not a thing because most of the time, even when you think you're kind of stretching it, you're probably still under stretching it a little bit. Uh, but then again, if you're like full on freaking stretching the skin, just again think of it like a balloon. The tighter that is, if you're used to not stretching it very much and you're running the needle through and it's running along and you're getting it in, but it's bouncing a bit more, and then you tighten that thing full throttle and you run that same style right through there, then you run the risk of you potentially blowing those lines out because you've got it so tight that the needle's just every single time going in and getting no resistance, no bounce back from the skin. Then yeah, it can be a pain in the butt. Yeah, okay, Brandon, you're having problems with tattooing people and then they go swimming. Oh my god. That's the one thing I make sure it's so clear to people. Do not go swimming. Stay out of the sun. Um, I don't know why. I don't like your tattoo will get ruined if you go in the water. If you lay out in the sun and just let it bake. But a lot of times you get people come back in and they'll say like, "Oh, I was only out in the sun for a little bit and it was just a quick dip in the pool." Like, ah, man. And I want to make sure that work looks good even after the fact. So a lot of times I'll go in and fix that stuff. But it is frustrating because you just paid me money. I told you exactly, this is what you should do, and you just you're home in one ear out the other. It's hard. It's hard to deal with, but it doesn't happen that often. It's not like every day. Most people listen. There's just an occasional people who don't, or they forget. Hell, my wife, I tattooed her the one day. We went to my aunt's place. She jumped in the pool. We were both just like, nom, 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 nom. And then all of a sudden, like, oh crap, get out of the pool. And you get to quickly see what just a few minutes in the pool can actually do to a fresh tattoo. Not cool. Mm-hmm. I'm glad, Steven. I'm glad the channel's been helping you out, man. Um, I'm glad we can do this. I'm glad we can be a bit of a community here, and we try to keep the hate out. We're just trying to learn together. And maybe someday I'll kill a fly. Let's see. Okay, Caden, you have the Q3 pill, and you're thinking about getting a Cheyenne eventually. Yeah, Cheyenne makes good quality products, but there are a lot of other companies that make some really good quality products. Because once you get into that range in the $600-700, excuse me, I feel like I'm gonna burp. Nope. Then you have options. If it's $600-700 for a Cheyenne, it's also $600-700 for pretty much all the other big name brands that are out there that are innovating. And if you're willing to spend that much money, do your research, check out other models, other brands. You can read about them, you can watch YouTube videos about them. Do your research. If you're willing to spend that kind of money, I wouldn't just put all your eggs in one basket and go, hey Cheyenne, or hey whatever. Look around, see what's out there. I'm doing the same thing. All right, Christopher, congratulations. He's ordered himself a stencil machine and the Mass Rotary Tour from Dragonhawk. Congrats, man. Oh, the what? Johnny asks about the DKW1 wireless tattoo machine. I don't know who makes that. Is that made? I don't know who makes that. Maybe I do my own research, some more research. I don't know, but I haven't come across that one. All right, jumping around here. Yeah, Simon asks or states, and I agree with. Wolf voltage is different for everyone. Your hand speed, machine speed, and so on, they're all going to be different for everybody. Voltage questions are impossible to answer. They're very, very difficult to answer and borderline impossible at times, yeah. But everybody's different. Every machine is different. We all had the same machine through every single one of you, the Cheyenne, whatever, we all have the same machine. We all run at different voltages. Our hand speeds would run totally different because we're just different. And that's kind of the way it goes. And then when you add the fact that there's like 100 different machines everybody could be using. Some machines will run all the way up, 15 volts. Some want to cap out really low. So it's tricky. It's tricky. I always used to, I say 7.5 volts is a good starting point. For most, like 90% of machines, or probably less even, but that is a decent starting point. But you're going to have those machines that 7.5 volts might be its max. It's running full throttle, way faster than you're expecting it. So cycles per second can be important to watch for there. That'll help out. Okay. Have you done any watercolor tattoos? Truth, 100% be told, no, I haven't. And I think that might be because when I was in my apprenticeship, I've done so much different than they did or since then, but like the watercolor tattoos were one of those things where we didn't really like or seemed like was frowned upon a bit. So I guess maybe that kind of slightly in the back of my brain where I need to get out there and try some. And so I can go, okay, I can tell you guys, yeah, whatever or no, but I haven't done any. Sorry. Oh, damn it, just jumped again. Oh, there you just saw him. Like black inks. Okay. Oh, okay. A video explaining the difference between black inks. All right, I could do that on the few, the different black inks that I have, and show you the different levels of darkness. I actually have a piece of fake skin around here that I shaded each cap. Each cap, I did a shading of each cap in the fake skin, so you can kind of see how each level of gray wash looks in the fake skin. I'll probably throw that in a video at some point, or maybe add that to a video down the road. I thought it was right here, but it's not. Barbie says, I just bought a Cheyenne Hawk. Congrats. Graphic says the CNC Q5 machine with the Japanese motor is great. You can get that for $95 on AliExpress and shipped from the US. I got mine in 5 days. All right, there you go. Gary says he's thinking about buying a Q2, but he really likes the Big Wasp rotary. I don't have any info on that. I'm just putting it out there. So if anybody else wants to drop a comment and answer his question whenever, go ahead. Just reading them. If I can answer them, I will. If I can't, again, smash the like if you guys like this, and it also helps YouTube to go, okay, we'll share this with some other like-minded people, and yada yada. Let's see. What do you think about Injecta? Injecta, I've not used Injecta, but they make good products. I haven't heard a lot of complaints about them. If you haven't used something but you haven't heard anything bad, you kind of get the feeling that it might be a decent product or company for that matter. All right, jumping around here. Yep, got that one. I get my tats in the winter. Okay, Barbie says she gets her tats in the winter time. She lives in Florida. Smart move. And that's why in my brain, I always think every winter, like, we're going to get busy. But it doesn't happen. That's just how I think, Get them done now. Summer comes. You don't have to worry. You can go on vacation, do all the cool stuff you want to do. Your tattoos are healed, and they're still really fresh because you just got them done a few months ago. But to each their own. What I will say for healing, response, if you're being really responsible, summer does help a little bit because you wear less clothing in the summertime. So if you're chilling in your house or whatever, you're more likely to have a t-shirt and shorts on or something than you would like a sweater and other stuff. So your tattoo gets a little more opportunity to get air and heal. I guess there's the pros and cons. Okay. Oh, just want to say thank you for all the videos. We help a lot. Thank you, Marty. I appreciate that. It takes time, but I think it's worth it. Hello from Arkansas. Hello back at you. I haven't heard anything about a Nudo pen. I could look into it. Maybe I will if I remember, but no, I'm sorry. I haven't heard anything about Nudo pen. I really only like learn more about it when I'm ready to try something new. Then I'll go out there and look around. And I have been, but I kind of quickly found a couple of things I really like, so I didn't really look too much further. Um, can I practice on a rubber head from Amazon? Is it the same as a practice game? I don't know. I don't know what the rubber head is, like what it's made of or whatnot. If it's like for tattooing on, then sure. But I not say you can't. I just have no idea what it is. Is the Q5 worse than the Q2? Again, I feel like I know less than I know sometimes because I don't know because I didn't use the Q5. I only used the Q2. I did do some research prior to it. It seemed like the Q2 was the got more praise than the others. But that's kind of what helped mold my decision. Yeah, best of luck to you, Nicole. As you start that. Oh crap! Here we go again. Crap. Simon's saying that if you are a home or very beginner artist, that is fine. But if it's your everyday job, you shouldn't touch that machine. Also, that fly for under $400, you will get some bad knockoffs. I both kind of agree. I agree. As a whole, I do agree with you, Simon, because I understand what you're saying. If this is your profession and this is what you do, um, invest in yourself and get good equipment. And but at the same time, yes, if you're learning, you're still in that learning phase where you just want to see if you have it, if you can make good tattoos, yada yada yada. Understandable to use a machine that's not fantastic, okay, or it doesn't have the same value as another machine, if you will. I think that's fine, and I believe Simon's saying the same thing to graphics. Hey, man, that's fine, man. Just if you get to the chance and you're doing this full time, definitely look into a better machine, something that you can rely on a bit heavier, something that and you just have a good mindset that that machine is going to work for you. And I agree. I mean, and not to say anything wrong with the Q2, but that's sort of how I feel is like I need to constantly reinvest in myself. And that's why it's like I wanted to show you guys a decent machine at a decent price that you can get without breaking the bank while you're learning at home. And I believe the CNC Q2 is a great machine for that. I have not tried every machine out there, nor will I ever be able to try every machine out there, but or give it the proper amount of time. I believe I've given this machine a proper amount of time. I'm going to continue to use it until which time I get another machine that I have my eye on. Um, yeah, so great point, Simon. I think just wanted to clarify where I stood on that point, just because, and I think you guys are both right, and definitely invest in yourself. That's that part of being responsible. But sometimes that $100 machine is you investing in yourself because at the time that's the best you could afford. But once you get to the point where you're making tattoos and you're collecting income, make sure you're reverting that money back into yourself and maybe into a machine that has a little bit more reliability built into it, in a nutshell. Let's see. Which do you prefer? Yeah, I've used a coil. The only coil machines I've ever used were Mickey Sharp's machines. So that's all I can say about that. How do you feel about cremation tattoos? I've never done one. I've never been asked to do one. Um, it's just never happened for me. So that might be something I will have to look into if that becomes requested of me. But so far it has not, so I can't speak on it. Gary, you have been a big help with all your videos. They have been very educational for me to become a tattoo artist. Good, Gary. I'm fantastically happy. Who says that? Fantastically happy. Whatever. I'm really happy, Gary. Really am, man. Um, because I don't feel like there was that opportunity before. There was an opportunity, but you had to really dig through all the information to figure it out. And I feel like that's what I had been doing for a couple of years, was just watching and digging through everything I could find on YouTube, looking at amazing tattoos on Instagram and trying to depict them. We do our best. So I think when it came time, when I realized that, all right, I need to share what I've learned, because that's just kind of how I roll. It's like, I got this information. Who wants it? What can I do with it? That's just how it is. Um, I kind of had a feeling what people might be looking for, because I remember looking for those things. And if I didn't make those videos then, or if I don't make these videos now, as I personally progress, I will forget about these things. It happens. People will comment sometimes. It says, clearly you don't know what you're doing. Um, you shouldn't be teaching people. And it's like, okay, I can sometimes go, all right, I agree. I don't know everything that I'm doing. I'm doing the best I can. Whatever. But what master tattoo artist is going to come and teach us? Where is he at? I'm talking like Furtado. Where are these people? They're not going to come and help us out, all right? So to think that you're going to get and become a master at tattooing, and then go back and help bring people up, it's not really happening. It hasn't happened really. So you kind of have to teach it as you learn it. And that means you don't know everything when you're explaining what you do know, but you know what you know, and you want to show somebody what you know and help other people who may not know. And along the way, learn from others. Anyhow, I could go on and blabber about stuff, but that's just that. Uh, hard to keep a steady hand. Yeah, some skin, Brandon, he's talking about tattooing like leather skin. It can be a little bit rough, and you do have to also watch out for really dry skin. Super dry skin can be a serious problem as well, because you can really just carve, and it's literally carving into some dry skin. So make sure that maybe if you have a consultation and you're looking at the area where they want to put that tattoo, that you just take a look at it. Make sure it's it's not to sound all weird, but make sure it's moisturized or it doesn't seem super dry. And if it is, don't be afraid to tell them, like, hey, if you wouldn't mind in the next couple of weeks, just moisturize this when you think about it. Every little bit will help. And tattooing the rough skin is just one of those things. Take your time. Sometimes they just take longer because you have to constantly refigure out that part of the skin that you're on. And that's okay. Just always think the most important thing here is the tattoo. At the end of the day, the most important thing is the tattoo, that you do the best you can. If it takes longer, that's why I charge by the job and not necessarily by the hour, at least at this point in my career. Who knows? Maybe out on the road, I'll just be so proficient with everything. I'll just know, like, that's going to be about 4 hours. So $400, $100 an hour, whatever. Anyhow, Christopher. Okay, buddy. This is cool. Christopher Weaver says, right now I'm practicing on a baby doll that has rubber limbs, and it works just without the jump of actual skin. Christopher, send me a picture of the baby doll when you're done tattooing it, man. Because I don't know. I just want to see him. I don't care if it looks good or not. It's just a tattooed baby doll, and that's kind of cool. So send that over to my Instagram at daveinks.88 when you get a chance, man. Thanks. Andy B, what's going on, man? Great to hear from you. Yeah, the eco tank, man. I'm still waiting. There was a few things that made their way to the top of the priority list. We made a little move recently, so I had to get a new bed and a new TV and a few other things to keep wife and family and life happy. And soon we will get to what I want, because it seems like I always want new stuff for the tattooing, because it's just, it's just cool. I don't know. Anyhow, let me keep looking. Thank you. Thank you, Andy. I know it's a game changer too. Yeah, gotta get my shit together, huh? Oh, geez, the thing just jumped again. All right. Again, I want to say I'm sorry if I missed you guys' messages. It seems like this thing really jumps a lot, and I try to get back to where I was. I never am. We're gonna go for about another 20 more minutes, and then I'm gonna jump off of here. Um, I'm glad you guys are here hanging out. I'm glad we're talking. I mean, I always get excited and happy when all of us get together and we can talk. And I love talking tattooing, but nobody around here wants to listen to me blabber my mouth off, or you guys do. You guys want to. You guys have questions, and you guys help me out, and it's good time. I gotta stop blabbering. All right, moving on. Is dynamic black tattoo ink good? Yes, for me it is. I use it. I use it. Use it all the time. Uh, I heard triple black's good. I need to get some more. I tried it. I used triple black before. I actually used dynamic black just the one time, and so I didn't have much to gauge it off of. So I look forward to getting triple black again and trying it out. Um, Barbie asked, "Did you come in knowing what style you prefer, or did you slowly discover your style within time, or with time?" It's a great question. I did not care two shits about a style when I started tattooing. I didn't care. Maybe it was because of, excuse me, where I was tattooing at or whatnot. But only thing I remember, because I had practiced tattooing like 14, 15 years ago. Well, that's too much. 13 years ago, um, with the machine I bought on Amazon before coils, I mean, before rotaries and all that stuff, where it was only coils. I'll show you guys that. I still have it in a box till this day. Um, and I tattooed myself. So when it came time to actually like do the apprenticeship and everything, I knew the importance of just being able to pull a line, because that's what tattoos were then when I had started. They weren't quite as sophisticated as they are now. It was about just, you pull a line. How clean can you make a line? And can you put color in? And can you shade it? Like, those were the three things my brain was like, we need to learn how to put a line in. We need to learn how to put some shading in there. And we need to learn how to color some shit. That was it. That's all my focus has ever been for the longest time. And you will have times where you think you mastered 1, 2, and 3, or at least like mastered them for like what you're trying to do. I've mastered it. Never mastered any of this shit. And but you think you got a grip on it, and I'm losing my train of thought again. This is my life, man. It's just always spinning, but nothing's ever processing correctly. Well, god dang it! Somebody remind me what the hell I was talking about. I just keep seeing these flies, the fly by, and I keep losing my train of thought. Again, no, we don't charge. I don't charge by the hour. I charge by the job. It's just easier for me that way. Dave, triple black rocks. Nice. Can I self-learn tattooing? Yes, you can self-learn tattooing. You can learn to tattoo on yourself, by yourself, and that's what we're trying to do here. Is get rid of some of the myths in tattooing, maybe, and try to help each other answer some basic questions all the way on up. Any great plans for the next video? No, some weeks I'm ahead of schedule. Most weeks I'm behind schedule. Uh, I have like a list that I can go to, and some videos take a little longer to plan out because they need a little bit more time. Sometimes it can be like, I got some good footage on a tattoo I did, so I really want to explain how I did this. Sometimes they'll develop on their own, sometimes they don't, and I want to try to get a balance between like straight up how-to videos and sort of like time lapse while I'm talking to you guys about it videos, and just a little back and forth, so that there's a little something maybe for everybody, for the really new people, for the who have done it, the different levels. And then there's never any disrespect, no matter what level you're at, because we've all been there. A lot of us are there. I'm still learning so much. Like, believe me, I have so much to learn. It's ridiculous. Andy B, man, tattooing is a passion, absolutely. Um, I'm glad the videos that you like the videos, that you all enjoy the videos. And Andy, let me know if you ever turn the camera on, man. I'd love to watch your videos. If you ever do that, my friend, let me know. I know you're saying that it's not really you, but if you did, we would. You have all of our support, I hope. Are apprenticeships required to become a tattoo artist? Now, I would say no because of where I'm from and whatnot. But I guess in some states, apprenticeships are required. So, or states, countries, I don't know all the information across the globe, but I used to think no, but I was corrected by some subscribers who let me know that no, they actually need an apprenticeship, and some of them actually had to go to tattooing school to learn certain things, and then they could start an apprenticeship. So there's a process, and it's not the same everywhere, and it's real unfortunate. And I think that's what makes some of this so difficult, is because there's a lot of us, including myself at the time, who really wanted to do things the right way, but we just really didn't know what the right way was. Like, okay, so what do I do? Who do I talk to? Even when it comes to um, a tattoo shop. I mean, of course, I chose a horrible time to try to open a tattoo shop because I need the health department, of which is backed up a bit. So there's a lot of different moving parts, and there's not a lot of information out there about it. So yeah, just I'm gonna get information out as I know, but I can probably only speak on Ohio, which is where I'm from, and whatnot. Do, do, do. Let's see. Oh, Roger Norden says, even after 20 years, he's still learning. Absolutely. If you stop learning, I don't think you stop learning. If you love tattooing, I don't think you stop learning. If you like, this style of art, you just constantly like looking at other people's stuff, going like, "Wow, that's so awesome." Like I never look at my own stuff, and go, "Wow, that's freaking awesome." No, you're just like, "Okay, all right, all right. I like it. That's okay, cool. What can I learn from this? What can I do better?" And then also you look at pictures and you go, "Oh, geez, man, like." Hindsight, I could have made that different. And we're just constantly learning, picking up things from other um, tattoos. But what I have noticed, and I just want you guys to keep in mind as well, if you're on Instagram and you are looking through a lot of these photos, is it can be discouraging, especially at first, because you see such amazing work, and it is amazing. Um, but sometimes, for me, from a tattooing standpoint, I wish people would take like reasonable photos, right? Like you take a photo and sure you're gonna adjust like the contrast a little bit. That it's okay. But don't get crazy. Don't make those yellows look like they're like vibrant. You can tell when a photo's been doctored a little bit, and what that does is it gives people a false understanding of what tattoos actually look like. And I'm not saying a lot of people do this, but it is done more often than it's not done. Um, and a lot of times when somebody says they want a type of tattoo and you look at it, it's like, okay, that tattoo is doable, but that photo is not. That photo has been, doctored, and you can quickly do this. You can take a picture of any one of their tattoos and tweak it very quickly, and all of a sudden they have that photo that they you can make it look a bit more than it really is, essentially, and that makes it difficult for you and for myself too when we're out there looking at these tattoo images and we're going, wow, how it's not necessarily real. And the clients are out there looking at this stuff too, and they really don't understand when something's been like heavily doctored, and doctored in the way that like colors, they just don't get that bright in the skin, period. um, Now there are some magic workers out there that are fucking phenomenal, but for the most part, that's a frustration that I get. So when I'm giving you the advice to go out there and look, I also want you guys to make sure you're being smart about what you're looking at. So anyhow, moving on. Okay, this is a great question, Jay. JD asks, when you use to, or when you practice on your legs, even the little lines, how do you care for it? For something so small as practicing lines, do you wrap it as you would, I'm assuming, like after a tattoo? Um, no, actually, funny enough, every tattoo that I've done on my leg, when I was done, I cleaned it off, I pulled my pants up, and that was it. I never did anything to them because I wanted to see them heal like just straight up, nothing on them, right? No lotions, no nothing. They heal fine. Um, but after using, Sanoderm, some of these other products, you can tell that within those first 48 hours is your best time to protect that tattoo. And the results, have shown that proper caring for your tattoo will improve it for sure. But I can also tell you that if you do nothing other than shower regularly and keep the area clean, you're going to be fine. But that's how I cared for my legs, like just badly. Um, what should aspiring tattoo artists have in their portfolio? What is being looked at in a portfolio? Well, I can't speak for a lot of people. In fact, I've never had a single portfolio come to the shop because A, it's really new, and B, I'm not taking anybody on right now because, of YouTube and my own stuff here. It's a lot right now, and I understand why a lot of tattoo artists can't take on clients, and that's what I'm constantly letting you know, that is your best bet if you get an apprenticeship. But if you can't, I want there to be something like this channel here in the middle to kind of help those who are really, really aspiring. Um, but honestly, just put your best work in there. Um, I wouldn't worry so much about, is this tattooable? Like, are these tattooable pieces? For me, I'd like to see like where you are. That's what you do. You do paintings. All right. I mean, you can work, like you can clearly make these amazing paintings or pieces that you want to put in a portfolio, or with charcoal or with graphite. It doesn't matter to me what you make your art with. I just want to be able to see it and know, like, okay, you can see this stuff. You have potential. I mean, I can show you how to tattoo because you already have the artistic skills to take yourself above and beyond. And that's just where my mind sets is. I have no problem with hiring somebody that is like way better than me, at least in art, right? Because you just know you're going to create such an amazing tattoo artist, and I would take more pride in that than I would, not offering them that position, because I thought they were going to somehow surpass you. It's just a bad way of looking at things. Is a Q2 okay for larger hands? I would say, yeah. It's, I don't see why not. It is short. I would grab it, but I'll grab it another time. It's about that long. I have no problem with it. You also have the battery pack that hangs off. Mine hangs off this way, and I love that style of hang off because it just feels the same as the coil was, only way, way lighter, obviously. But it's pretty well designed. I mean, I have like an extra, I wear like extra large gloves or large, and they seem, I can use it just fine. Maybe if you were like 7 foot tall and your hands were like, quite a bit larger, maybe not. But oh, here we go, extra large glove size. Yeah, you'll be fine. Stefan, hello. It's from Belgium. Welcome. And Barbie says she gets anxiety when wants to post her work. And that's normal. It's normal. You're putting yourself out there. You're putting yourself out there. It's not easy to do that, but the more you do it, the more you'll get comfortable doing it. And if nothing else, you're just going to learn something. But you got to be willing to possibly take a few stabs here and there in that process. If you never jump, you'll never get there. If you don't take the chance, then nothing's going to happen. So think about it. What's important to you? Where do you want to be? What risks are you willing to take to get to where you want to be? Not risks as far as in like your health, but I mean a risk of possibly getting ridiculed for, not having the perfect lines, not getting things done exactly the way you want them to be done. But you're creating something to where you can then look back at your work and go, wow, I feel like I've been sitting here spinning my wheels, but I look back at like the last couple months and I realize that I haven't been. I've actually really improved quite a bit. But maybe you can see those things, and maybe the general public's going to take them a little longer to realize it. But that's what it's all about. Just as long as you're improving, improve. uh-huh. Okay. What city are you in? I live in Ohio. Will Green. What city? What city? I'm in Ashtabula County. Ashtabula County. Specifically in the Jefferson area. There's a couple Jeffersons in Ohio, but in Ashtabula County in the Jefferson area. So, yeah. Oh, what happened? See that this thing jumps all over the place. There it is. Yeah, we are our own worst critics. Sometimes. And then all of a sudden you do find somebody who is really a worst critic. You're like, God damn. But a lot of times they're right. They're just being honest. But they don't. I'll leave it alone. There's moments, Tips on tattooing feet. Feet kind of hurt. People want foot tattoos, and then when you go to tattoo them, they're not expecting it. So just take your time. That's a cardinal sin to the ink gods to Photoshop tattoo work. Yeah, Charlie, but the ink gods, not all of them, but some of them are the ones we're talking about. Now, I've messed with these same things too, and it's not worth it. You're showing people something that you really can't do, so they're gonna see your work and go, wow, it's amazing, and then you tattoo them something very similar, and they're like, well, why the hell isn't it like super bright and shiny? Why isn't this, that, and the other? And it's like, well, it is, but that's how it looks in a photo. Yes. Thanks, Dave. Again, Instagram is at daveinks.aa. I keep saying I'm going to get better at posting there. I have improved a little bit. I'm hoping to, stay on top of that. Can't you swim if you have Sanoderm on your new tattoo? I tell my clients they can. Just be sure the Sanoderm stays in place. And if it doesn't, wash the tattoo and then apply a new patch. Nick, that's fine, man, but I do not tell them to get in with Sanoderm. It's not worth the risk, period. Not worth it at all to me, because if something goes wrong there, I told them they could get in the pool or in whatever with the Sanoderm on, but something happened, and it's not. A lot of times the client won't always take responsibility for it, so I will take responsibility for it, and I will take the time to fix that, which is costing me time, me money, and if the tattoo artist wasn't willing to fix it, then that would essentially cost the client money. So for me, all around, it is better for me to tell them, don't go in the pool, period. I mean, you just spent a bunch of money for this tattoo. Like, do your due diligence and take care of it. I do my half, you gotta do your half to make the best tattoo. That's just me. Crap, let's see. Would you want to do a live crit session, like receiving artwork from viewers and talking about it and what could be improved, etc.? Yes, I'd be fine with that. I don't think that I'm like the finest artist, period. So I think that I would love to do. What I want to do as well is I was having you guys send fake skins, and I want to continue to do that for a little while. And I encourage you guys to send them in. I've only gotten a few so far, but that's fine. It's no big deal. If we get a few and we make a couple videos, that's cool. It's your artwork. I just want to show your artwork to everybody else, so they can see and see where other people who are working, learning at the same time as them, what their work looks like in comparison and whatnot. But yeah, eventually I want to get it to where send me an email, an unfiltered picture. You don't have to try to make anything look better for us here, right? We're not going to beat you up. We want to take a look at it and go, hey, great job here, great job there. But you know what? Maybe just a little bit more time doing X, Y, or Z, and just a little guidance, a little help here and there while you're working. That's what I want to do in the future, and that is a good idea to potentially be able to do that live, so that way, if people have questions about the piece, we can stop and talk about it. So great idea, Sarah. That's kind of what I've been trying to do. I was trying to get OBS to work and figure out how to use OBS so I can send links out to people so they can jump in the live stream with me. That's what I'm trying to work towards. Again, I made a mistake, accidentally went live. So here we are. I'll figure that out another time. But yeah, thank you. Yep, Dave. If you want a larger grip, sure, you can go buy larger disposable grips, or you can just use some wrap. Oh, actually, I have a link in the description of the video. I was going to show you guys what I use, but it's already out there. What voltage do you tend for packing? I've noticed this is the same thing like development and how we change. I've noticed that with this machine, I actually like to run at like 8.1 volts for both lining and shading. I don't really mess with them too much. I will notice that maybe I'll go up or down a little bit when packing color, depending on the needle configuration. If I'm running like a big mag, I might have to bump it up a little bit to get the same results as using a smaller one, or I can use my hand to make the difference. Once you understand it enough, you can control it by using like a lot more hand speed versus machine speed. You can adjust your hand speed to match that voltage if you want, if you don't want to constantly keep changing it. And I find myself doing that sometimes, but other times I change it. So 8.1, 8.5 seems to be around there. Every once in a while I'll dip down to like 7.8, but it's really, you're just cutting hairs in my opinion. I can work anywhere in that regard. Oh, damn it, it jumped again. All right. I've never done a face tattoo. That's just the truth. Nobody's asked me for a face tattoo. Neck tattoos, done neck tattoos, but no one's asked me for a face tattoo yet. Let's see. Oh, and that's smart. Nick says he only does them on people that are like retired or get Social Security, so that he doesn't ever feel like he's hindering them from making money in the future, or people who just have a ton of money, I guess, who don't have to work. That's cool too. Do you use a stencil printer, and if so, which one would you suggest purchasing? Great question. I do use a stencil printer. No, like a stencil machine. I wouldn't call it a printer because that's what I want to get. I have a video out there on it. You can check that out. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's got a picture of like a black stencil machine or what have you. That's what I use right now. I really like it because I create what I want. I print it. I run it through there. My stencil looks exactly like that. But I am interested, and I'm really excited to change my setup to the EcoTank system, inkjet, and start messing with that and seeing what can happen. Because if you don't try new things, I don't think you can get stuck in a rut. And I'm not saying a stencil machine is gonna make your art a million times better, but I'm curious to see, can I accomplish more with a better stencil machine? Something that we're gonna find out. And maybe this month, maybe next month. Like I said, a lot of moving parts, and everything costs money. We'll get there. Yeah, if Young K, if you run your voltage higher, like faster, then you may need to move your hand a little bit faster. So it's tricky at first because it's not like you go into tattooing going like, this is how fast I want to move my hand. So then you just like crank the speed up till it works. You're trying to figure out how fast can I successfully move my hand without, looking like I'm going down a bumpy road with my lines, right? So that's the key, trying to figure out what speed you feel comfortable to even move your hand out to keep, your breath calm, to keep everything nice and smooth if that's how you're working. So it can take a while in the beginning to kind of figure out what you're going with. I totally remember just I don't all over the place in the beginning trying to figure out what I like until I realized that what the things that were important, the stretch, the voltage to hand speed ratio, that's it. That's where it's at. Obviously, whether you're floating the needle or riding the tube, I think there's a time for both, and I use both in almost every tattoo. When you're working with details, it's best to throw that needle out a little bit further from the cartridge so you have like perfect visibility of everywhere that needle is, and you can, carve your little pieces. But when we're running like a really long line, sometimes to keep a smooth line, I'll back that needle up just a little bit, and I'm not quite like just put it in there to where I can't see where I'm going, but I keep it at an angle to where I can always see the silver needles going in and out. But I can sort of ride it almost on the skin a little bit, which helps me gauge depth for running a long line. And it keeps it a one run line, which is usually a smoother line. So anyhow, probably got off the subject there as usual. Let's see. I like the Q2 a lot. I talked about a lot that earlier. It's a good machine for its money. Hate it or not, yeah, it's not $600, $400, but I'm telling you what, it's a good machine for its money. For $200, I like it. Now you're dealing with products that don't actually have too great of a product service behind them. These bigger name companies, they come with customer service really good. They come with a lot of things because they're there to make sure that they're one of the best machines, that you're getting your money's worth, yada yada. So you do run the risk of, you could buy a CNC Q2. I could tell you all the amazing things, you get yours and it doesn't work, right? That's part of that process when you don't necessarily have a huge name backing it. So anyhow, still, it's a good machine, guys. For under $200, solid. And I can't wait to try any other machine and compare them. Fabio, Dave, what is your favorite style for tattooing? Sorry, guys, I am literally jumping around all over the place on the questions. And again, the favorite style, like sometimes you'll do something like you do tons of mandalas. You're like, oh, I think I like this line. I think I like this style, and really though you don't. You just find yourself doing it a lot to where you kind of start to get comfortable with it. But no, when I started my own thing, it was like everybody wanted color. So I was like, okay, here we go. We're going to do color. And that's the way it was. And then I did not learn black and gray first. Surely I learned how to like shade a little bit. I could shade pretty well, but I learned how to pack colors because that was easiest. And that's what people wanted at the time. And then I had to go back and kind of start to learn what I liked. I kind of liked black and gray. I just kind of like shading stuff. That's pretty much what I enjoyed doing before. So that's what I like to do now. I don't know if it's realism or what kind of ism style it is. I just like black and gray and things that have a realistic look. They're not necessarily trying to make them look photo realism, like high definition. Just, you want to tattoo this phone? Okay, I'll take a picture of it. I'll stencil it, and then we will tattoo that phone. I can see it. It's right there. I know where the shades go. I know how to interpret it, or at least to the best of my ability, So that's what I like to do. Stuff that, has definition, is realistic-ish. But I think that so many people come into tattooing with like a style, like they want to have a style, like that's what they like to do. But I think you're like a tattooer first, then like the artist. I know some people are probably like, what? But I think you are. I think you're like a tattooer first, and then you are a tattoo artist. Your artistry in the beginning almost comes second. You want to really make sure that you can lay down a decent tattoo, which is its own right a struggle at times. It's not tattooing is not an easy thing to do. but it sure is fun and it sure is worthwhile. Um, Anyhow, totally lost where I was going again. Surprise. Yes, the Q2 does have the same motor as the Bishop shader. So that was that Fall Harbor motor that I read about, and that's kind of the reason why I bought the machine in the first place, was because of that Fall Harbor motor. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. So here's the shit. What's it? Shea money. This is a question I get a lot. So, what's the best voltage for lining and shading for the Q2? Now, this is one of those questions that is extremely hard to answer properly because there really is no best, period. So what I will do is tell you like what I think could be a great starting point for both lining and shading. And with that machine, I still think 7.5 volts is a good starting point, with that machine. Um, Excuse me. My God. And you can go up and down from there, start at 7.5 and move your hand how you feel comfortable, like I think I'm going to tattoo the skin like, and then you're like, my line's not looking good. Well, maybe you need a little bit more voltage because you're moving your hand a bit quicker, or maybe you need to slow your hand down. That's kind of where you're going to find that. But 7.5 volts should give you a starting point. Jeez, my Dr. Pepper's messing me up. Stefan, hello. How you doing, man? Out in Germany. Thanks for stopping in. Tattooing a diabetic. I wouldn't really in the beginning or really much. I mean, you can, that's fine, but they'll pass out on you and stuff. They have different, you want to make sure you have some sugar stuff around, like dark sodas or whatnot. I've had them pass out before because of being diabetic. So I don't really know that I have any advice on it. Just take it as it is. It's going to be an interesting time. It can be. Some people will turn it away completely because it's just not worth the risk, while others will. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to stay in the middle of the road on this one. Johnny, you got one. You like it? Amazing tank. Yes. Yeah, that's what I hear, man. Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. But hey, guys, I'm going to jump off here soon. I said like 20 minutes ago, like half an hour ago or something. So, okay. So, Andy B's got the Epson 2600. They're both saying they're amazing. So, I'm taking these down to check the differences on them because I too am in the searching process for a Epson. So let me just put this in my notes real quick. I'll be right back here. I forget lots of things. So save that. Okay. Let's see. Doing tattoo lettering. Okay, so David Jackson said doing tattoo lettering freehand. When it comes to any style, do you find it challenging at times? Yeah, I don't do letters freehand. I'll never pretend to be like a calligraphy style. No, not good at lettering at all. As far as designing them and getting fluent stuff and thinking that somehow my brain's going to be able to make this look good and not. I ooh and ah over watching people do amazing lettering, especially when they sit there and they, just whip that stuff out right there. That's awesome. That's an art form in itself. I always praise it to them, honestly, because that's two skills working together. You're a fine artist, tattoo artist, and you have this ability, which I would definitely say it is, to put lettering like that right on someone's skin. Awesome stuff. Later, Dave. I'm gonna not hearing good things about the company when the machine goes wrong. However, I own the Q2 and Q5, and they have both been good. Yeah, yeah, I haven't had any problems with mine either. You know, that's kind of the thing. If I do, I don't know. I will let you guys know. If it has problems and I have to get get a hold of so long and do all that stuff, then and it goes bad or good, I'll let you know as well because that's vital information. Okay, thanks, Dave. Dave, he reminds me again to remind you guys hit the like button, subscribe. What else does he say? Ring the bell for the latest videos and streams. You guys have a great day. Now go tattoo something. Thanks, Dave. Have a good evening, buddy. Appreciate you. Okay, I'm gonna take like one last question here. What's it say down here? I see, man. Okay, I think that's about it. I know I missed a bunch, guys. I'm sorry. Um, Wait, sorry. With which motives should I start into portraits? Okay, this will be the last question. That's kind of where I'm at as well. Like when it comes to portraits, is that I don't mind drawing portraits. I don't mind that sort of thing. But when it comes to putting an actual person's face that they've stared at for 20 years or whatever the case may be, or continue to stare at onto their body, there's a certain level of mastery, I think, and it can just be nerve wracking, and it sort of is for me to take that dive. And so, what I think a really good alternative to that in the beginning would be is you see a lot of these girl faces, and I think you guys know what I'm talking about when I say girl face, right? Um, it's just that, a girl's face, right? But it's not like your sister, your mother. It's just a girl's face, and you can add stuff to it and whatever, right? That can be a great place to start because as long as that looks like a girl and it looks well, then we're not. It's not your aunt or uncle who you're like, wait a second, that's not really. Yeah, that looks way too smooth. That person, that's not them at all, right? All you have to do on a girl face is make it look like a girl and make it look good. But you're not trying to compete with somebody who's a living person they have to look at every single day. So I would say start there. Maybe start by trying tattoo a girl face, a guy face, just a general face that is nothing particular to anybody. Okay. Brewer, you're welcome, man. I'm glad that this can act as a refresher for you. All right, guys, I am going to hit the end stream button. I just want to say thank you guys all for hanging out for a while. It was an accident, but it was fun. So, again, I appreciate it. If you enjoyed this, then give it a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the bell to get notifications when I post. Until next time, guys. Peace. Look, see, I did the thing, peace, and then it didn't end. This is my story of my life. Are you sure you want to end the stream? Yeah. Later.